afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Y'all know what it is. This is the Central Crown presented by Detroit Fan Report. And y'all know how we do when we start off every show. Introduce the panel that I have with me today. Starting with, haven't seen him in a while, but he back. Mike.
What's up, y'all? It's Mike. You can find me on Twitter at @OneFry_JR.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. C Money.
Yep, you can find me on X at Crazy Hockey Fan.
Short and sweet, short and sweet. Richie Rich, what up, though?
What up, though? Glad to be back, y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Mr. Statman himself, Steven.
What's going on, everybody? I've been gone a long time. You haven't heard this voice in a minute, but oh man, we've got a lot of junk to sift through. So let's get into it.
All right, y'all. So the trade deadline ended today at 6:00, and we're gonna go through the following trades that just happened for the Detroit Tigers made. Starting with your main one, happening during the Tigers game, we find out Terry Skubal was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Steven, your thoughts on the trade?
Overall, I like it. I'm not going to say that it doesn't hurt. It hurts a lot. I think that today we got some comments from Scott Harris that honestly kind of summarized why we ended up making the move and why we had the discourse that we did surrounding Skubal. He really wanted to see how this team would bounce back, and obviously they bounced back valiantly, but it's just very clear that without the bullpen arms, we're just not a World Series contender this second yet. We're not too far. This isn't a rebuild. I know it hurts to think about the rebuild years, but this is more of a retool. I think Zahir Hope he's probably an upgrade over Kerry Carpenter in right field. I would say he's got more of a well-rounded game. He's got some speed to his name. He's at least an average defender, and Kerry just has a glass body. River Ryan is an MLB-ready arm. Right now, he's dealing with some hamstring injuries, but those aren't expected to carry much beyond the next couple weeks. He should join the rotation pretty quickly thereafter. Brady Smith has a live arm in high A. He's intriguing. No clue what to make of that just yet. But overall, I think this is as good of a trade as you're going to get for 8 weeks of a two-time Cy Young Award winner, especially one going into this, this big CBA discussion that's going to be happening this offseason. Overall, I'm positive on this trade. Obviously, it stings here because Skubal was so important to the lifeblood of this team, but we got to be realistic about where this team is at right now, I think. And I think this was the decision that had to be made. But I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts as well.
All right, Chris, your thoughts on the Skubal trade?
Okay, so I like it as well, but not nearly as much as probably Steven is. I'm more of a I'm more in the C+ range on this deal. I mean, now at the end of the day, it's like it probably was the best we could have gotten. I mean, there's probably not any other offers that are, at least to my knowledge, that were close to it. So at the end of the day, you get what you get for the best deal, and that was probably it. That was probably what we got, regardless to whether I grade a C, a B, an A, a D, whatever it is. This is probably the best we're probably going to get. And like Steven said, I like Zahir Hope. He, outside of his fielding, he's got like intangibles with his running, his arm in the field, and his power is immense. So you're looking at possibly, a left-handed power hitter. Not like we need another left-handed batter in our lineup, but he offers a lot of plus power on that. And he also he's a little better than like almost a plus runner in a sense, but not really there yet. River Ryan, great. Like my biggest deal is that he is 28. And at the end of the day, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, he's had all these issues and stuff. Well, just like any other sport, the best ability is availability. But we have control all the way to 2031 for him. So that's a plus because we have a lot of control. He's got a plus fastball and a good slider. So I mean, at the end of the day, even if he didn't come into as being a starter, I like him also as a long reliever or a closer with that plus fastball possibly. So I like the overall grade is a C plus, but if he becomes like a third starter in a rotation or a like dynamite closer, the grade increases. Same with Hope. If he goes on and becomes a perennial all-star, I mean, it's going to look really good for that. In the throw in the additional pitcher, we'll see where he goes after that. But overall, I give that a C plus grade.
Rich, your thoughts on the Screwball trade?
I mean, I've been in trade him for the last couple of years because, I mean, it's obvious he's not coming back. They're not going to spend the money. Might as well get something good. I mean, that's like ruin a fudge pie in your refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really gonna let it expire without eating it? Like, I mean, you really gonna let him just walk and not get nothing? I mean, we could have been. Hell, if we would have traded him 2 years ago, you probably could have got the number one prospect at the time. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean that's. But you know, like Steven said, 8 weeks plus playoffs. I mean, that's a pretty good. That's about as good as you're gonna get. I don't know what their fixation is with fucking left-handers, man. Left-handed hitters. Absolutely bonkers to me, man. But I mean, like I said, it could be better. I mean, and River Ryan, almost in a way is like Casey Mize, right? Like they're about the same age. They've had history problems. The talent's there. The only difference with Mize is he doesn't have an all-star, and he's having a hell of a year this year. But again, how many games does he come out of because of injuries too? So overall, I'm with everyone else. It's at a C plus, but definitely has a chance to go up.
Mike.
I hear everybody, but I think I'm more so with Steven on this one. I would give it a B. It's going to pan out. The overall grade is going to pan out to how the players shake out, because the prospects can mean anything. You can have a number one prospect and still not be that great or still be very average. So it's just going to depend on how they process throughout the minors and when they come up, if they'll be able to handle the majors or not. But I would give it a B face value. I think we held on to Screwball too long. I agree with Rich in that department. Like, I thought, if anything, like you should have moved him this off season. We would have got significantly more at that time. But it is what it is. It's how it shook out. I don't think we did enough in the off season, offensive wise, to do what Scott Harris was wanting to do. He wanted us to be competitive, like the Valdez signing. Came out of nowhere for us. None of us was expecting that signing. And we was like, okay, they might be trying to go for it here, but we still felt like, man, y'all still should have grabbed another bat or two. Could have made it better. But, hey, they rallied. They got back into the thick of things. We're still close in the wild card right now. But when you looked at it, I agree with his decision when he came to it that we had to move him, because it just makes the most sense for this franchise. And I also agree with Steven that this is not a rebuild. This is the retool, because this is still a fairly good baseball team from top to bottom.
I just hated to see him go to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That was my biggest
Yeah.
thing. It could have been anybody but the Dodgers. I wish him the best career, you feel me? Because he did bring a lot to Detroit. He did a lot for this team, so I got to respect him on that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you know, I see a lot of disdain on, especially Twitter, like Tigers Twitter, and to get mad at that man or hate that man or any type of negativity towards his professional career. Hell, even personally, right? We've never had no issues with him, you know, outside of the field of baseball. Man, he brought us 8 years. He was here. In the organization, 5 good years of baseball, back-to-back Cy Youngs. I believe he got some MVP votes. I mean, hell, he performed in October, right? Like, that's what you asked for from your star players. I mean, hell, we got guys that we root for that, they don't perform in the playoffs, right? Or perform when they need to. Shit, you got someone that actually perform, man. There's no reason to hate that guy, man, but nothing but to thank him for what he did for Detroit, man.
Completely agree. All right, let's talk about another pitcher that got traded today. Yeah, we all seen coming. And that was Casey Mize getting traded to San Diego. Mike, start with you on this one, man. How you feel about Steven, it just keeps switching to you. How you feel about the Casey Mize?
Me up first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm actually much higher on the Casey Mize trade because we didn't have to trade both of them. And we actually got a really nice piece for somebody that has an extensive injury history, was gone at the same time as Skubal, and we somehow fleeced the Padres out of their best pitching prospect for 8 weeks of another glass body. I was really surprised. I mean, obviously, Cash Mayfield is who I'm talking about when I say that. He really, really encouraging lefty arm that is already at high A, despite the fact that he was just drafted out of the first round. Obviously, pitchers are a complete lottery, but I think they're less of a lottery than they were 10 years ago. I think that a good pitching prospect that has live stuff is very likely to have some semblance of success, and you got to worry much more about injury than you do about results. Tarek Skubal was, a guy that wasn't drafted very high and shocked, but not a whole lot of high round pitchers just do nothing anymore. It's honestly impressive how much they progressed. I think this deal is a ton of surplus value on our end, and I think the Padres really, really overswung here. I think that some people are confused because they haven't heard the name before, and obviously Jackson Wolf was just a warm body. We just got Jackson Wolf, the left-handed pitcher, MLB ready arm, but I don't think he's going to be an impact player. He might be on the team in the next couple days, but it's not going to be to get outs in October. At least I don't think so. But I was really, really surprised we were able to pull this off. Whereas with Skubal, I was like, yeah, I'm really glad we got some future pieces out of him. This is a situation where we might have just gotten a dog for like very little. Because Casey was very good this year, no doubt. So I know the intrigue was there, but I mean, that's a lefty that throws in the high 90s that we just got for somebody who could strain his groin tomorrow. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts.
Mike, there you go.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with this one. I'm in the same ballpark. I was more excited with this trade than the Skubal trade. I thought we got a pretty good prospect. I think in the Skubal trade, we got some potentially good prospects too, but this one I feel a little bit more excited about. Like you said, lefty with high 90s, you're always going to be excited about that. 21-year-old prospect, so he's fairly young. And Mize, he's had a great couple seasons last year too when he made All-Star last year. So when he was able to put 2 years together after years of being injured and fighting through injuries and surgeries and stuff. And he was able to compile 2 back-to-back seasons of very good baseball play out there. So I think it helped him get traded. It also helped us get this level of prospect for a guy that's only going to probably have like 8 more starts this year. So, I mean, I think, like he said, I think the Padres overshot, but they always do this. They always throw away their prospects, and they're fairly good at identifying talent and getting more prospects. So it don't really matter to them. You could think of them in a similar way to Dodgers, man. Dodgers and Padres, they always reload their farm system. So both trades to them, it don't mean anything. But to us, I think we did significantly well at this trade deadline.
Rich, how you feel about the Casey Mize trade?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was a fan of Casey Mize. I liked him when he was in San Diego State. I mean, nasty splitter, right? And to go with that fastball, and I mean, injuries have plagued him, right? Like that's the only thing that's if it wasn't for injuries, guys, call me crazy. He's probably a top 10 starting pitcher in this league. Like, he's been an all-star. I mean, hell, he's had games, and he even said it this year where, I've learned, a pitcher is not when you're on your best. It's when you don't have your best and you're still able to give your team a chance to win. And that he's becoming that. So to watch him grow and, battle and everything, it was really good. But, I'm like that too. Like, I'm done on the trash, guys that hold you back. I mean, because if I can sign you up for an injury plus a year, like, what are we doing? That means I automatically have to go get you back up. Not maybe, not insurance. It's a definitely. I have to go get you a backup because you will at some point get injured. So to get, I like this Jackson Wolf guy. He's 6'7". He is left-handed. He is 27 years old. But guys, this organization has turned plenty of guys, projects, into really solid guys. Tyler Holton, Summers, Wagaspock has made a comeback. I mean, we can go on and on. Different guys who have done so. I'm kind of intrigued by that because hell, at this point, I'm willing to try Mike out there in the bullpen, man. Because some nights, man, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster, man. Hey, you can't be any worse than Will Vest.
Will Vest is
or
done.
Finnegan. He is now. Yeah. Now he's been done like months ago.
I agree. he wasn't healthy. I don't know why he was on the field.
All right, let's get Chris. Was you done, Rich? I want to try to cut you off.
Oh no, you good. Sorry.
Let's get C Money. You ain't gotta be sorry. Let's get C Money's point.
Yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I like this. I like this trade better. I really did. And I mean, I'm not gonna say we fleeced the Padres, but we fleeced the Padres.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty. This is pretty good. I was super ecstatic with this. I like it. He's got a plus changeup, and he has he's in the mid 90s or plus in his fastball. I really like this guy. I mean, I don't know much about the other pitcher. I haven't had a chance to really look him up to see how well. I mean, he is older, but like one of the other guys said, we'll probably see him shortly. He'll probably get in. And he's more of an innings eater, like an inning here and an inning there, so I'd like to see him and see what he can do. The one good thing about us is, just like Rich said, we've got one of the better pitching coaches in the league. A lot of these pitchers that we are getting, he will help them immensely. So that changes a big deal with any pitcher. When you see a pitcher with like a 5 ERA, that don't mean nothing when he gets to us, because that can change rapidly. So yeah, at this point, I love this. I gave this one a B, probably a little higher now that I've looked at it more. But yeah, I really like this trade.
The only pitcher that I've seen come through that there was absolutely no hope for was Ricky Vanesco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely no hope. No matter what they did, he got bombed. Damn, Chris, you all right?
Yeah, that lack of location. He just cannot locate. I don't know what it is.
Just a bit outside.
At all.
Yeah.
All right, with the trade deadline coming and going, there was a player that everybody thought on the team that would have been gone, but that is still a Tiger, and that's Gleyber Torres. I know me and Mike was talking before everybody else come on. I was surprised that they didn't move him, Mike. Your thoughts on Gleyber still being a Tiger?
Yeah, man, we was both talking about that, and I had the same sentiments. I think, I'm not mad. He's still on the team, and he's a productive player. He's still pretty good. But I thought for sure we would have flipped him, because I know we got some other players that can come up too. Like Anderson's been killing it down the minor leagues, but he can still come up later. But again, not mad of it. But I thought we could get like another piece or two prospect wise with flipping him to a contending team. But hey, it is what it is.
Especially that he's on an aspiring contract after this year too. So I thought we want person that we move.
He's still great to have on the field and in the clubhouse too with the younger players though. So I'm not extremely mad at it, but that's kind of feels like a missed opportunity to me. But
He has been balling since he's been back. Rich, your thoughts on Glaber still being a Tiger?
So I'm actually not surprised because he's absolutely what the Tigers want, right? He's going to give tough at bats. He's going to see pitches. He's going to run it. And him and McGonigal up at top, with him being Torres being so much injured this year, since McGonigal has got good, we haven't really seen a whole bunch. But man, like on any given night to start a game, that easily could be 10 to 15 pitches right off the rip that pitchers have thrown after two hitters. Mike is right as well. He's good for the game and no problems. No issues. He's not good to have on this team. I wouldn't even back next year with you.
Rick,
Really,
Rich sound like T-Pain, man.
yeah, your sound is going in and out, Rich.
what?
Your sound is going in and out.
Hey, Rich, say something real quick because you going in and out. Say something real quick.
Hello.
All right,
Yeah, you
good.
sound clear now. You sound clear now.
I wasn't trying to cut you off, but yeah, we couldn't hear what you were saying. But go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back next year.
See, that was going to be my follow-up. I was waiting for Rich to finish there, but that was going to be my follow-up. We all know he's a productive player. We all know he's a hell of a hitter. He's a tough at-bat every at-bat. But what is the end goal? Because if he's not on the team next year, what does it matter? Like, do y'all think he's going to resign? Would y'all resign him? That's what I want to hear.
I would.
I mean, I would, right? You could do the same thing like you did this year with Lee. You don't know what you got with Max Anderson. But like, I was just looking at this earlier today for my own knowledge. I mean, you got like, Colt Keith in his fourth year. You got Torque Torque in his fifth year. What I'm hinting at is like, there's decisions. There is decisions to be made. Like, I can't keep putting Colt Keith at these positions that he plays, and you're not really giving me production that I would expect at those positions. Hell, even second base, right? Like, that's you at the very least, if you're gonna place it, gotta be like Glaber, right? Solid defense, good running, runner scoring position. About 10 to 15 home runs, get some RBIs, walks, right? At the very least, you can't be that production at first base. You can't be that production at third base. So, like, I'm okay to realize, with our core, the ages, I give like a year or two to play, if you know what I mean. See where guys fit in, who's going to be here for the long haul, who's not, filling in gaps. Me as a fan, after seeing everything, obviously injuries changed the trajectory really of the near future. So I see that as the new near future.
Chris, your thoughts on Glaber still being his
Yeah, I actually didn't want to trade him at all, even though a lot of people did. I actually wanted to keep him due to his plate appearances. I mean, just the last game, the last game that we had against the A's, he had 4 walks. Like, that's unmatched discipline. Plus, he's a veteran in the locker room that's good and can help the young guys, help develop them more. These are the quality. Now, I'm going to really go back on what I said when we first signed him like 2 years ago. Like we all were not very happy with getting Gleyber Torres when he first got here, but I'm going to have to stand by and tell myself, my 2-year-old goal person, that Gleyber Torres is now that veteran guy that you need to help with the guys coming along, so that way you have somebody to help them. I like him. He's a good veteran in the locker room at this point. I mean, you weren't going to get a whole lot for him, and I think he gives you more towards the end of the season than what you would get in a return, because eventually he could go. And you're right, Mike. If he was going to disappear at the like if he's leaving at the end of the season, I would sign him. But if it's going to be like for $10 million more than what he made this year, like probably not. But if he's going to sign for something similar or something just a hair more, yeah, well, maybe that sounds like a person I would like to be there. Because when you get to the end of the season and the rookies are not playing well, or they're still, because next year Clark and freaking McGonigal, that's their second year. Now people got tape on them. Are they going to go through a sophomore slump like some rookies do? You don't know. And so that's the thing. It's always the what if. Me, Rich, and you have discussed before. Like, it's always the what if scenario. Like, just because they're playing good this year does not mean they're going to play good next year. Like,
but Chris, going back to what you said a little bit ago, we were still right about that. Like, we weren't saying Gleyber was a bad player at all. We were saying it wasn't enough. We were saying it wasn't enough to sign this one.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. You're right. We did say that.
And so that's that. I mean, in terms of us having to trade Schoolboy and Mize, I mean, it essentially played out how we said it was going to play out. It's a nice addition, but this can't be the only addition.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, we did say we needed more veteran bats than what we have. I mean, at the end of the day, once again, like Rich always wanted, he's been preaching for 2 years, right-handed bats, and we just don't have them, you know? But yeah, I like the fact that we kept Gleyber instead, just due to his locker room and stuff. Because the guys that you want coming off the bench are guys like Gleyber. Like, those are the guys that when the rookies come up, that's the guy you want on the bench. Or down the stretch when guys are in slumps, you can throw him in there and he's going to hit just fine, or he's going to give you those good at bats. So yeah, I mean, you have Max Anderson coming up soon too as well, and you got to figure out him. Just like Rich said, you're getting a lot of guys to the point where you're going to have to bring them up. You don't want to end up like the Dodgers, who have like 9 guys in the top 100 and they can't get any playing time.
Yeah, because some of these guys are going to have to go.
Another one coming up, and also another thing what we've learned, guys, in the last 6 months is, 8 months, because it's August now, is the Tigers are going to tell you what they're doing, right? Like, they're tipping their hand on everything that they're doing. By bringing Max Clark up early. That tells you a lot, right? Basically, it's your center fielder of the future. Meadows, we're done. And guess what? I don't want to see another fucking Meadows around in Detroit, because we're old for damn too.
Listen here. I still have hope. No, actually, I don't. I really don't have hope.
Oh, man.
Poor Parker, man. Dang. It's like, it's crazy.
But, having Gleyber here for McGonigal, because they're basically the same type of hitter, right? As far as patience and everything. And even though that's been McGonigal's staple throughout his whole professional career, it's a whole different level on the major leagues. And with Gleyber doing it, being able to do it too, I'm sure it helps to give him a insider too, right? Like,
you know what?
I just think it's pretty good for
another
Archie.
thing with Torres, it just popped into my head. Me and you were talking about this before. Him and Dingler when throwing out guys, man, they have gotten a tag team unbelievable between them two.
I'm with you on that, Chris. I was waiting to jump in to say not only him, but also you got to throw Javi in there. Javi coming back. It's been a nice injection in the lineup, offensively and defensively. And he's another veteran. Him and Glaber, like those are two very good veterans and very well liked players in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy though, Mike? Is those are two guys that earlier in their career you wouldn't think.
Yep.
You know what? That was another thing we had to say when we signed Glaber too, because you know the whole thing with the Yankees and him and Jazz and who's playing what base and all that, and what was going on in that situation before we signed him in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got some young guys coming in, but I remember that when we were talking about that. Like that was now it's nothing. Like that's just a laugh in the past. It's funny.
Remember, he was hot dogging it in New York. But, hey, we've all said that, right? Mike, Chris, me. Man, if you just change and, just get better, man, all that shit that you done before, ain't no one going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's all a thing in the past right now. It's all a thing in the past. Like here in Detroit, these two seasons, no issues.
Yep.
You can definitely change your narrative, man. You don't always have to be that quote unquote problem child, right? Like you can change, and you've seen that with Torres and Baez, and it's good too seeing them being, being foreign players, and not having like their best English or whatever, even though they've been over here for a while, to be leaders of their ball club.
Steven, your thoughts on Gleyber Torres still being a Tiger?
I don't know if you guys saw me in the corner. I've been cheesing for like the last 7 minutes.
I know you have been.
You guys have been fanning my flame, and now it is time for a famous Steven Yap session because you guys gave me way too much material. This is your fault. Okay. So off the bat, love everything you guys said. Gleyber Torres has been a consummate professional since coming to Detroit. Last season, he completely carried the offense, bar none. He was the best offensive player on our team last season, even though it may not have felt like it. The second he developed that hernia, we were a significantly worse offense. And really this season, it's kind of been the same thing. He got off to kind of a cold start, but he got on base so much anyways that it didn't matter. And now that he's hitting and feeling like himself again, he's getting on base at a ridiculous clip. The 4 walks yesterday, that's just run of the mill for him these days. And that's just it. One thing that I've really noticed Scott Harris is clearly trying to do is infuse this organization with offensive momentum. It's not specifically that he's trying to build a super offense like the Yankees try to do every year and fail, because the fact of the matter is they don't buy into what actually makes an offense an offense. You need to think more like the Rays, more like the Guardians, more like the Astros when it comes to building an offense, even though they're always one piece short themselves. But that's kind of what we were in 2024. We were this close to signing Alex Bregman, and he decided to go to the Red Sox at the 23rd hour. And that probably was the difference between us last season being in the World Series and us really fizzling out at the end of the year and just somehow still being one swing away from the ALCS. In spite of all of our pitching problems, Scott Harris has focused entirely on creating an interesting offense with a clear identity. He hasn't always filled it with the best players. Zach McKinstry is not going to blow you away. He'll have a good day every now and again that really does contribute to a big game because he's plucky. I mean, same thing with like a Matt Vierling. In 2024, he was plucky. This year, he has not found that magic again. James Outman was that player a few years ago. He just pulled magic out of his hat. And those are the kind of identities that Scott Harris is trying to put into these filler slots while he sifts through Avila's garbage. And I say Avila's garbage specifically because some of the guys Avila drafted are good players, but a lot of them are deeply flawed. And we've had way too many of them floating around our atmosphere for too long. Skubal, for example, phenomenal player, the perfect left-handed pitcher. Really the modern version of Randy Johnson in his own respect. Not the same player as Randy Johnson, but he's doing the things Randy Johnson was in the modern day. And we had no idea what to do about that because that guy was going to command 45 to 50 million a season. What the heck do you do? We're a mid-market team that can spend more than the 3 teams I've listed. We can spend up to the luxury tax, which is a luxury compared to the Rays, compared to the Guardians, compared to the Astros. But when you have guys like Torkelson and Riley Green, who at the end of last season had no identity, we had no idea who they were going to be in 2026. Both of them have starkly changed their identity. Riley Green became a much more well-rounded hitter and has lowered his K percentage by 10% from last year to this year. And I don't mean 10% as in like it dropped from 30 to 20. I mean, it dropped 10% as in it went from 30 to 28%. The strikeouts themselves decreased by 10%. And that in itself is just so incredibly rare for someone with his archetype to do. He put in the work to become a better player. Torkelson tried to do that, but I really think Avila messed with his head. So it's going to take him longer if he ever gets to that point as a Tiger. I do think we're going to get to this in a minute. So I'm actually not going to spoil what I was about to say because we have a category for that. I think I see Chris knows what I'm getting at, but the fact of the matter is that guys like Torque and Green could be part of the core going forward, but Green has asserted himself as someone who could be on this team as the antithesis to a Kevin McGonigal. McGonigal being that perfect contact hitter, guy with defense, speed, excellent base running, on-base skills, but he also can hit you a homer every now and again. Riley Green's the opposite. He doesn't really lead with his legs. He's a solid defender because he gets to every ball and makes the flashy play. He hits the home run, but really what he's doing is he is invoking fear in the opposing pitcher. McGonigal is a frustrating player. Riley is a terrifying player. Those are 2 different vibes. And Max Clark reads a lot more like Kevin McGonigal than he does like Riley Green, for example. We're trying to stack our team with players that fill either of those 2 camps. They're either the person that's going to just piss off a pitcher every game, or they're going to end the pitcher's night. And I love that we're moving in that direction. And Gleyber Torres is the perfect nucleus. I have no idea what to do with him going forward. He's not old. He's only 30. And for a second baseman, that's actually not that old. Second basemen tend to play into their upper 30s, usually even older than that sometimes if they're really good like Gleyber is, but he is getting slower. He does have some injuries to his game now. And Hao-Yu Lee, like we've said, has really taken a much bigger step forward than we expected him to do in his rookie year. I find it super interesting because I don't think you can recreate Gleyber Torres on the free agent market. And none of our right-handed pitchers or right-handed batters in the minor leagues are Gleyber Torres. Max Anderson is not Gleyber Torres. He may be more powerful. He may have a better ability to beat a pitcher in terms of swinging the bat, but he's not going to get on base 3 or 4 times a game for you consistently. And I don't think anybody else in the league is going to. I don't think you find that unless you've got Judgy and power. And so to me, I think that right now you have to decide, do we have enough plate discipline from McGonigal, from Clark, from Riley when he is disciplined? Do we have enough thump from Dingler to be able to let Torres go and bequeath that role to a Max Anderson? Or do we allow Max Anderson to come onto the team naturally with Zaire Hope next year? And for example, I need to throw in Kerry Carpenter now because I don't know if we're talking about him. I may have mentioned that we should, but Kerry Carpenter, I don't think that he's going to be on this team next season. I don't even know if he'll be on this team in a month. It's just, he was so solid for us for the last 2 years that it felt inconceivable that he'd be gone. But I just can't justify taking up a roster spot when someone like Torres offers so much more, despite kind of being the prototypical DH. Like he kind of feels like Edgar Martinez in some ways. I don't know if that's bold to say, but if you take him off the field and you just let him get on base as much as he does and beat pitchers with his brain like he does, I just think that's worth $25 million a year. I think you give him $25 million for 3 years. Maybe one of those years you have an opt out afterwards, so you don't get stuck with him if he does end up being injury prone. But I just don't think you're recreating a Gleyber Torres. I think that he is extremely valuable, and I would love to see us try to reunite with him. I think that there's still a path for Max Anderson to make this team because Andy Ibanez was on our team for 3 years. And Javi Baez is currently occupying that Andy Ibanez role. I thought Hao-Yu Lee was going to be that guy, but he's actually been better than that. He feels more like a starter next season. And like, you know, he right now he is Andy Ibanez, but like in 2027, all of these dynamics are going to change again. Javi's going to be another year older. He's also going to be in a walk year, which means that we could just decide to cut him. I'm not saying we should, but that is possible. It is possible that we want to get that money off the luxury tax. Like all of these decisions are really interesting, and they all center around Gleyber Torres. Him staying on this team is significant in that it represents Harris's move toward an offensive focus of the future. We've got tons of starting pitchers in the rank, but Gleyber Torres staying on this team means that we care about offense more than we care about pitching, and it is plain as day now. I think that just needs to be out in the atmosphere. We are an offensive-focused organization from here going forward.
Mike, I'm going to start with you. We're going to go right there. So, glad you brought that up. Stephen said, do you think Harris is preferred offensive-focused team?
I want to respond to something he just said there, because it is time to ship some players, and I think Chris and Rich know what player I would ship off this team right now. Y'all know what player ain't coming back for me next year. That would create some spots or create a spot for one of these younger guys. But I was starting to think about the Kerry Carpenter thing about a week or two ago. I was starting to have that same thought, like, damn, like coming into the season, felt like he was one of the guys, like the core guys. But the way the season played out, him always having the lower leg issues, like it's like, man, like I don't know, like I don't know if I see him in a future with this team, but. We'll tackle that another day. We'll put the topic on the screen a little bit. You said offensive focus. I agree. I agree with the offensive focus. And matter of fact, I can't even say what I just said because I think he's going to be the next topic. But
I
agree. I agree with the offensive focus. But it goes down to what I asked in the last segment. Like, what are they going to do with Gleyber? Are they going to re-sign him? Because I wouldn't be opposed to re-sign him either. But are they going to do it? And then what years are you giving them? And then what amount of money per year are you giving them? Because I think if you do want to continue to push this Harris offensive focus team, he should be in a Tigers uniform still next season. But asking me if I know he will be or not, I don't know. But I would hope so.
Rich.
Mute's on, Rich.
Yeah, Rich probably sleep. Hey, go back to me real quick. Go back to me real quick. Wait, is he talking?
No, go ahead. You got it.
Okay, so I'm on saying what I was getting at without naming the player. Guys like Zach McKinstry, man, they got to be off the roster, man. I'm sorry. Like it was. When we was doing the show in the offseason, when we was talking behind the scenes in the offseason, whether it be group chat or us getting on the phone or whatever, like them saying that we had an all-star at third base was just crazy, bro. Like he had a phenomenal first half of the year last year out of nowhere. He's always been a utility player. We can't let an anomaly, because the all-star thing in his production was an anomaly. Like he's historically a utility player. You can't say, oh, we're good at third base, we have an all-star. We don't have a perennial all-star at third base. We have one guy that had a very good first half of the season and made an all-star team. We got to get more. If you want this offensive focused team, get some real offensive players on the team, please.
Rich, you there now?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Same question. Do you think Harris is focused on making this an offensive team?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way the offense, because, I mean, very rare are you just going to be able to slug your way. I mean, especially come October, right? Like you got to be able to, stack hits and stuff together, and the base running and like even this base running, them getting rid of Cora, and you definitely could tell they're still aggressive, but they got a little more sense now. Like they don't be sending them like they used to, but overall, yeah, I like the strategy.
Chris.
So in terms of offense focus, if you put this out on like X or something like that, people would say, we suck at offense. But when Steven was talking about the grip, like the idea of offense, so it's not put out like when people think offense, they think home runs, they think all these runs, they think all the power hitting, they see the slugging. That's not what what he's talking about. Getting on base and producing runs. It's not small ball. It's not power hitting. It's a little bit of everything. And I've said this in the past, and I say this to people like one-on-one and stuff. I would rather have a bunch of 280 to 300 hitters than a batter that's like a bunch of batters that are batting 240, 230 that are hitting like 30, 40 home runs a game. Because more often than not, 75% of the time, they're swinging and missing or grounding out. And you're just hoping and praying that one of those at-bats gets you runs in. Now, you have your anomalies that play really well and that have good with runners scoring positions. But those are the guys that also produce walks and high RBI. So that's where the base hitting comes into play. So when you got McGonigal and Clark and Gleyber Torres and even Baez, these are guys that are getting on base in other means, not just hits. They're getting on, or Dingler, who gets hit 13 times in the season already, gets on base and because once you get on base, it doesn't matter how you get on base, you're already putting the pitcher in a position. If we get a bunch of guys that can just get on base, that's the offensive-minded portion that I do believe Steven would agree with. Like, you're not producing 500-600 home runs a season. You're producing a lot of RBIs, walks, and hits. You're getting on base. You're getting those runners across any means necessary. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for consistent hitters, and I think I've come to grips that that's not I like that plan. That's a great plan, and we're getting there. We are really getting there. So I like it.
You're also making the pitcher work too. Like, I mean, you going out there swinging out in 3 or 4 pitches ain't making the pitcher work at all. So I think we've come a long way from that standpoint too. But this goes back to like us wanting more bats. Like, look at Arise. He just got moved to the Phillies today. Like, I mean, could you imagine him in this lineup if we had him and Torres in this lineup?
When I saw him traded, I thought about you, Mike, back last year when you wanted Arise.
Yeah, like he's hitting 324. Like, this is crazy. He's hitting 324. I think his on base percentage is like 360. Like,
I think his like power numbers are like maybe single digit home runs for the season, maybe.
Yeah, he's not a power guy. He's not a power guy. But if you're talking about contact, somebody that's going to get on base and that's going to give you consistently great at bats, he was the guy. And he was. I mean, his contract. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't nothing crazy. It was significantly cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll chime in here. The main reason I don't think we went with the Rise is one thing we've already mentioned. He is left-handed. And considering he's another left-handed contact guy, and let's be honest, Harris and Hinch knew they knew that McGonigal was going to make the opening day roster. They felt like McGonigal was their Rise.
Yeah.
And he has been. He's actually been even better, if we're being objective. And that's the interesting thing, is that despite the fact that we have the best player in the American League and the best catcher in baseball, we're still under 500. And it's just because of all of those holes that were a combination of Avila era stuff, the combination of all of these question marks that have just been looming over the team. And I want to take a step back a little bit. Colt Keith, I forgot to discuss him in my little yap. Colt Keith, in his career playing third base, has been the most productive. out of anywhere he's played. We don't really consistently give him shots at third for obvious reasons. I mean, he hasn't earned it. He hasn't been good enough against right-handed pitching to justify playing him also against left-handed pitching. And even though he has been technically a plus defender at third this year, just because he's had so few chances to mess up, really, the fact of the matter is there's a reason we don't give him the reins. Although at the beginning of the year, I was ready to give him the reins. I predicted a breakout year, and I have no clue what happened with him. I have to believe that it's a mental component. I think Colt Keith is going to get another shot next year. And I'm really intrigued to see what he does with it, because I think it was Dan Dickerson the other night made a very solid point that even though Colt Keith has honestly been a half decent hitter, he's been above the last 2 years, he's been an above average hitter overall. He's never used his legs in his swing. And he's kind of starting to try to. He's starting to get some more drive into the ball. And recently he's been hitting better. He's gotten some home runs. I mean, I remember that article that came out of nowhere that was like, Colt Keith's resurgence has the Tigers winning games. That was nonsense, of course. But it is intriguing, because what if Colt Keith had broken out this season? He'd be playing third base every day. And McGonigal would be the shortstop, and Lord knows what would be going on with Hobby. He'd probably still be playing center field. Max Clark would probably still be in AAA. That didn't happen. And that's what's so interesting about having this offensive focus going forward, is that guys like Colt Keith are becoming obsolete. Now, I do think he has a shot to stay on this team, but he's going to have to earn it this time. Last time he didn't have to. He was automatically our second baseman in 2024. He was automatically our platoon third baseman and DH against right-handed pitching last season. I don't think he's going to be gifted that next year, because we do have Zahir Hope in the minor leagues. We do have Max Anderson ready to steal his position if he performs at the major league level. And Hao Yu Lee already looks like he could just be a third baseman as the starting guy. I like the fact that that competition still exists, because next season I expect that we're going to take another massive step towards the actual identity of this Tigers team under Harris. I have said consistently from the beginning that I feel the real window opens next year. That has always been my stance. 2027 always felt like the year that Harris was truly going to open the floodgates and not be as cautious and as careful as he's been so far in his Tigers tenure. I don't think we're going to see as many McKinstries, as many Veerlings, as many Outmans going forward. I think we're going to see him truly try. And that's what's interesting, is because I've already said, I think Kerry Carpenter's days are numbered. I don't think he offers this team enough, even with the power and even with the clutch. Keith may not offer this roster enough, but he at least gets a shot because he can produce at third base. He can run the bases well. He can offer you some things. But I like the fact that you're clearly seeing this organization put clocks on these guys. I think that's an important next step, and I'm really excited for this next topic because of that very fact.
Hey, Neil, one second. I agree with everything you guys are saying about Keith where it comes to Stephen and Rich. I do think though, I think we're being a little bit too harsh on them. I think the guy we need to really be talking about is Torkelson, in my opinion. Torkelson, I don't know. I mean, that's not a topic for today, but we definitely gonna have to touch on him, because I think he should be getting a lot more. I mean, I know he has the home runs, but I mean, he also has 100 more at bats than Colt Keith. So he has the home runs. He's been in some spots. He's been doing really good, like recently and stuff. He's come through in some clutch moments, but it's still not enough for a number one overall pick.
You're right.
Raw pick at all.
Yeah, but you're right. Sorry, do you have more?
No problem. No problem. I was done.
Okay, cool. You're right, and the only reason that I neglected to talk about Torque isn't because you're right, because you are. It's mostly just because right now we're in an awkward spot where half of our organization got injured this year. And one of those crucial guys was Josue Briseño, who really feels like the guy that could take that baton and run with it. Obviously, he's got to improve defensively. We're about to get to a player that could potentially fill Torkelson's shoes. I do think that him being right-handed has given him an extra leash. I think we can all agree on that. He does work in at bat, and I do think that helps his case. I have no idea what his future looks like in Detroit, though, because you're right. He really has underperformed compared to the value that he was supposed to bring. And even though he's been a pretty solid defensive first baseman, despite what the metrics will tell you, I agree with Rich on that one. Like, the metrics are wrong when it comes to Torkelson's glove, but you can create a good defensive first baseman unless your name is Colt Keith. And that's
We
just
don't
it.
want to talk about Colt Keith at first base, right, Rich?
We don't.
Not at first. I'll speak up for him, but not at first base.
I love Colt. I do love Colt. I love what he represents. I do think that he's got to earn it more than Torque just because there's so many lefty players in this organization. I'll pass the baton.
In Torque in my mind, and I've told these guys this, I have to have back-to-back years where you're performing well. And it was like his first year, he had to be sent back down. His next year, he hit 30 home runs. The following year, he didn't do anything. It was in his mind again. He got sent back to AAA. And then last year he hit 30 home runs. Now he's back in his head again. It's like you can't go off and on your whole career.
Yeah.
Like, so at this point, like
But
Mike
Chris,
said,
you're not giving him justice, man. He could still be that same player this year. He's only 11 off from last year.
yeah, but remember his walks and his strikeouts and everything else. He's swinging at first pitches and popping crap up. Like, we already know what kind of a guy he is. I don't go by strict home runs. You need more than that.
He needs more than home runs. He needs more than home runs. If he's not hitting 40 plus home runs, it don't really matter. With all his other stats, offensively, it don't really matter with him hitting 20 to 30 home runs. It really don't. It doesn't.
But that's my whole point. Like, he is what he is. This is year 5. Like, this is him. He's
That's what I was saying.
That's what
I was saying we're being a little bit, even though your criticism on Keith, both of you guys are valid. Like, I'm not saying it's not valid, but I'm saying Torque been here for a hot minute though.
Yeah.
But my problem with Colt Keith though is, for one, he's got more money than Torque. He signed that big contract before he even played.
He deserved it. He deserved more money than Torque. If you had to pick the best player out of both of them, I'm picking Colt Keith. I'm not picking Torque. Is anybody
But
picking Torque?
Cole didn't even play at that time.
Are you picking Torkelson over Colt Keith to go forward these next 2 to 3 seasons?
It depends.
Right now, I'm taking Torque over Colt Keith because Colt Keith.
And look at their WAR
every single year
right now. Look at both of their WARs right now too, and tell me who got the better WAR out of both of them.
And also on this team, on this team, right-handers are more valuable than lefties.
We're not talking about right-handers versus left-handers. We're talking about as a player, from what they've shown you through this point in their Tigers career. If you're telling me you're taking Spencer Torkelson just because he was a number 1 overall pick and he's a right-handed batter, when he's not the better player, I'm sorry. I don't agree with that at all.
That's fair. We just need someone to step up and prove that they can provide what he does. And I think that's a natural segue into our next topic.
All right. Let's talk about a player that we brought up and had a great start off to his career. And that's Max Clark.
Okay. Max Clark. We'll do him first.
I think we adjusted the order from the list that you gave him.
Yeah, I thought we was talking about Valencia right
Yeah,
here.
I thought I did
here too. I thought so as well.
Okay, let's talk about Valencia because I've been over here pronouncing his name on the low, so I didn't forget it how to say it. So we can talk about Valencia. So
all right,
he came up. I think he obviously, in my eyes, he took Jake Rogers' spot and made him expendable. So, Mike, how you feel about the kid, man?
I think we should start with Steven on this one first.
Okay.
I'd be honored. Thank you, Mike. Yeah.
Next time y'all can hold the show.
So I'm gonna call him Eddie. I don't know if he goes by Eddie, but I've just been calling him Eddie.
You could have told me that before the show. I was sitting over here pronouncing his name and reading my breath, so I didn't mess it up.
No,
Go ahead.
Val.
Nah, his name is Eduardo. It's not a pronunciation thing for me. It's more so that this kid came up and was cool as a cucumber. That's why I've been calling him Eddie, because he
Steady
just,
Eddie.
Yes, that is exactly why. Now, I will lay on the line that he went 0 for 6 in the Orioles game where they came back and broke all of our souls into tiny little pieces.
Yeah.
That was frustrating. He grounded into 2 double plays. He had a rookie moment. That's fine. I'm not going to be hyperbolic, but I am going to say something that sounds that way. It's not very often a rookie comes up, no matter how old he is, and just does his job. Every single time that we have needed something from Eduardo Valencia, he has done exactly it from an offensive standpoint. He's been relatively disciplined. He's never been a disciplined player in the minors. He's always going to be on the attack. He wants to drive the ball. I love that. I think that Torkelson has been a pretty passive hitter for most of his career, and that's been his downfall because Avila filled his head with a bunch of crap, and then he had to try to adjust to Harris, who was telling him, be yourself. That's not easy to do. I've been told that before. I have been told to be a certain way, and then after years of that just backloading me, been told to be myself. It is way harder to try to be yourself after years of trying to be something you're not. Eduardo Valencia never had to deal with that, and that's beautiful. Because if he can play defense at first base, and he can be a backup catcher until Lorenzo or Briseño or whoever you have becoming the backup catcher going forward, if he can be a first baseman, he will take Tork's job because he is a feel guy. Not only is his story incredible, he wears his emotions on his sleeve in a way that's healthy and really clearly has meshed with this team beautifully. I don't usually jump to these kinds of conclusions with prospects. Like I said that McGonigal was going to be a certain type of way just because of the workload. But with Eduardo Valencia, the eye test is what tells me he's going to be this guy. I think he's going to be a dude. I think he's going to keep hammering balls. I don't think he's going to slow down. And if he does slow down, I think he's going to be better for it. I think he's that kind of guy, and I really like his makeup.
See, Money, your thoughts on the kid?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you. It's funny how you put that into perspective, Steven. I didn't even think about that because at the end of the day, when I was thinking about like who would replace Tork, because the biggest thing about Tork for me and Rich and I have discussed this is that, and Rich has said it quite a bit, is that the one thing that Tork does do well is he digs those balls out at first base. Like when you have an off throw, he's money. See money. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do.
But that's the big deal is like, who would fill his shoes if we had him? Because at the point, who's playing first base for you if he's gone? Do we have a first baseman in the minors that we could transition from another position? Possibly. But that's a good point because I've seen catchers go to first base and vice versa, go to catcher. So it's possible that Eddie, Steady Eddie, or Val, if you want to call him that, could be a replacement for Tork. That is not, I never even thought about that. And I'm glad you proposed that idea. That sounds like a good idea. And he is at this point looks like he could be a much better hitter than Tork is at this point in terms of consistency. So yeah, I mean, I like Eduardo Valencia and I love his introduction. He looks like he is just having fun out there.
Yeah.
Every time he hit a home run, go the heart up to his girl. Rich.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously you can see he don't let the moment get too big for him. He has played first base in the minors. He's also just started coming into his power within the last year. Since last year, actually. So, yeah, within the last 2 years, however, which way you want to look at it. So you catch him at the right time. Man, he's built like Miguel Cabrera, man. You know, they got the same body type, right? He could play him in a movie. The older me. But no, I like, and his offense has been great, but like he's caught 2 shutouts since he's been here. And according to him, that's his first 2 of his career. So, he's been a much better defensive player. Even from the first time he came up to the second time, right? Because what do you tell a guy who's hitting over 300 when you set him down?
You'll be right back.
You know what I mean? Like, so obviously you can't work, there's really nothing to work offensively, polish up your defense. But I don't know. Does something have to be, because are you really going to play? Because right now your 2 catchers are your 2 best right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is a third catcher in the future, or because that's a lot of rare. Hell, Dingler, when he ain't catching, he's DHing. So, if you got Val, if he ain't catching on Dingler's day off, you can have a first base or DH, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of playing.
Do we have a catcher in the minors that's even remotely close that would they could? Because at this point, if you have Valencia trying to play first base instead of Torque, now who's your backup catcher? That you'd have to bring in a veteran, so you decrease the catcher position in the backup role, but you increase possibly the first baseman. Like, who's your backup catcher then?
Tyrone Lorenzo.
Well,
that's what I was wondering. I was wondering about when he was eventually going to come up.
Yeah, I don't think I think that his defense has improved a ton this year. I've watched him play a couple games. He is 10 times the athlete he was a year ago. Okay. I've been so impressed by him. Like, I don't even really care about the bat right now, because you don't need a bat to be a backup catcher, but he will eventually figure it out. He's going to. He's got the build. He's got the swing. He's got the moxie. And an important thing to remember about Lorenzo, since we're on the topic, is last year he suffered a grave loss. Someone very close to him died in the middle of the season, and he admitted that he let himself go for a couple of months because of that. But in the offseason, he got no nonsense. He lost the weight, and it has shown. I'm gonna pull up his offensive numbers at AA. Obviously, you guys know AA is the hardest stop. Just to make sure that I'm not tripping, but I'm pretty sure he's having a fantastic year. Not fantastic. That's an overstatement. He is above average as a hitter. He's above average. He's batting 220, but he has 10 home runs, 9 doubles, 384 or 784 OPS.
Okay, seven what?
784.
Okay, yeah,
you can work with that. You can work with that. And the thing I like about him too,
740 is your average OPS. So
yeah,
he's closing in on 800. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
The thing I like about him too is he's a switch hitter, if I remember correctly, right?
You're right. Yes.
That's valuable.
That could be potentially another right-handed bat that we need, because we got too many lefties, man. Too many lefties.
Yeah, I don't think he'll come up this year. I think we're just going to stick with Valencia as the backup catcher. But mid next year, he could become the backup if Valencia is your first baseman. There's easy decisions.
I'm looking at their top 30. They have him for next year, ETA-wise.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like AJ Hinch is, and maybe Scott Harris too as well. They do like versatile players. They do like people that can play multiple positions if things fall through. So like if you've got Valencia at first or playing catcher, or you got Lorenz that can play catcher or another position. Those are valuable just in case somebody gets hurt. Then you always have a backup catcher available.
Yeah, and he's not the only catching prospect we have.
Yeah, because you got Brasenio down there too, but the only problem with that is that's another left-handed bat. Like same thing with Rainier. Rainier, I believe, is left-handed. Where is he at on here?
Yeah, he's number 3 now.
It's prospects.
Yeah.
If you're left-handed, sign here.
Everybody's left. Everybody.
What do we got? Like I think we got like 3 right-handed bats in the minors, and that probably includes pitchers.
Yeah, I was about to say you got to include pitchers with that because the one that we're depending on, like what we were talking about with Max Anderson, he's right-handed, but everybody else that you might see coming up either this year or next year they lefties, man. It's all lefties on this list.
Yeah.
Rich, you want to finish your statement about Valencia? I'm saying his name now.
Nah, I said what I had.
Rich want him off the team so he don't bother his man Torque. I think.
Mike, your thoughts on Valencia's play, man?
I don't have nothing pretty much to add. I think all 3 of them killed it. I'm excited to see him get more opportunities, and his at-bats are exciting, man. It's exciting to see if it's going to go out the park or where it's going to go because he is, I think, only 11 games played, already got 4 home runs. It's been pretty solid. His OPS right now is crazy. It's not going to stay up there, but it looks wild right now.
I think he'll be like a 260 career hitter, probably.
That's what I say too. That's what I would say too. Is about 260.
Chris, what was I telling you last night about Torque? I said if Torque can get to 260, we might be able to have some conversations. But
that's what I said. If he could bat 350 the rest of the way, and you said no, I mean for his career, not.
Yeah, I mean for his career. I wasn't talking about this season because that ship is already sailed this season. But if he could be 260 with the power numbers, I'd be more for it. But you cannot be sub 200, 200, barely getting up to 220 right now in August. I'm sorry. This is not year 1 or year 2 for Torkelson. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, in this league, I'd even take 240 from him, but he's just been struggling to even get there.
See,
it's been really bad.
I would take 220 and like 35 or 40 home runs if he also walked like 50 or 60 or set. Like if his walks were way up there, because you're still getting on base. You need that. You need to get on base. If you're not hitting home runs, what other way are you helping the team?
I do have to give Torque a little credit. He does walk that much. He does walk that much.
No, he does not.
He walked 72 times last year.
What?
He walked 72 times last year.
No, that was last year. Year before that.
Yeah, but the year before that,
Chris
he didn't even play 100 games.
What? I can't hear you, Steven.
He didn't even play 100 games last year, and if he had, he would have paced for 65. He walked 67 times in 2023.
That's in an up. That's what I'm saying. He was in an up year. He only plays well every other year. So next year, I will be looking for him to hit 30, 35 home runs and have like 60, 70 walks because next year's an on year.
Did you see Torque didn't play? Did you say Torque didn't play 100 games last year?
He didn't in 2024.
He played all but 7.
2024. Riggs.
He played all but 7 games.
He's talking about
the 92 games in 2024. That's
he's talking about the 24 season, Rich. Not
He's talking about 24 when this is 26.
We need to be talking about the totality of his career, Rich, because it's not looking good.
When you say he does walk, it's got to be on an average. It's got to be in back-to-back years. And it's just like his first year, rookie year, he sucked. He got sent back down to AAA. When I mean sucked, he was batting like 109, like terrible sucked. And then he came back, had a great second year. Then the following year, he had a terrible year. And then the following year, which was last year, he had a great year.
I just pulled him back up right now. My bad, Chris. I just pulled him back up right now because I was trying so hard not to even bring him up in this episode. But y'all was killing Keith, so I had to bring up Torque. But Torque, if y'all had to guess right now without looking, what would y'all think his career batting average is?
It's 226.
Because he's looking at
it. He already know. He the stat man, so he know.
It's too low.
That is trash. He's the number 1 overall pick, man. Number 1 overall
right.
pick.
All of that's right.
That is bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like we got
to be careful about the specific numbers we throw out, though, because he is going to walk 60 times this year, and that was the number you said. So the number has to be higher, is what I'm trying to say.
So what was his walks last year?
Last year he had 72.
Yeah, 72.
He hit 72.
Let me
And
see.
and how many home runs did he have?
31.
And
31.
you say he's on pace for the same two things, right?
Kind of a little lower walks. He's on pace for about 62 walks right now.
Okay, and then runners in scoring position and OPS. Those are the only things I care about.
Yeah, now he's OPSing over 900 with runners in scoring position this year.
No. OPS period and
Yes.
runner and what's his average with runners in scoring
He's
position?
737 OPS right now.
737 OPS.
737. So he's an average hitter.
He's an average hitter. Yes, that is true. I'm not a Torque defender, but we do have to be careful.
What about his WAR though? Like, his WAR is 0.2.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he has not been an objectively positive player, but we just have to be careful about the specific things we cite. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I know
Just
with
because-
you and numbers, I get it.
We
I get
all overall I mean, I can't even speak. We're all overall in agreement with how his career has turned out so far.
Yes,
we
we
want
are.
a lot. We want a lot more. We want
Yes.
a lot more.
And it's,
Like the whole, if you were gonna like, but he don't even like give you that like, oh shit, he's up, with the bait. Like, if you're gonna be like that, be like Schwarber, right? Let
Mhm.
Kyle Schwarber come up with bases loaded. Pitcher gonna be shitting bricks. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, and his career batting average is only 232, but his on base percentage is 348. So I mean, he's walking a ton.
Yeah, you guys are not going to love his numbers with runners in scoring position this year. They're pretty high.
What is it? It's probably terrible. It's probably terrible.
His slash with runners in scoring position this year is 318, 426, 600. That's an OPS of 1.26.
Torres?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so I'll give you the numbers, but how many times has he had a chance with runners in scoring position?
85 at bats,
Shit.
108 plate appearances.
Oh, then I take that back. Then that's a surprise because
That's all I'm trying to say. Like, the thing about Torque is that he truly is an enigma. He is not producing to the level that he should be producing. That is objectively true. But I don't know what to do with him because he is right now, this second, your best option.
Yeah, the only thing you can do with him is to keep having them arbitrary years. I mean, you can't give him a contract. You just got to keep. We got 2 more years of control. He got to be here next year and then the year after that. But after that, I don't know if you give him a contract.
Exactly. And I don't even know if he finishes 27. Maybe you trade him if he's not your guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the position we're put in with Torque right now. It's not a good one.
But
Yeah,
the thing is,
we should have more of a definitive answer on Torkelson than we have with Pope Keith. Like, at this point, we should know exactly the player who Torkelson is, and is he a franchise guy or not? And we still don't know.
You're right. That is a fact.
Yeah, and I agree with that because it's like if he produced like last year, most of your years that I know who he is. If he produced like he did like this year where he's a little lower, but he's still got some of the numbers, I know who he is. The problem is he's so up and down that I can't get a grip of who he is.
You don't know who he is. That is a fact. I cannot deny that.
All right. Enough on Torkelson. Let's
Oh yeah, we got to talk about the new Bambino.
The new Bambino.
Oh,
that's Max Clark.
I don't need to lead this one off. I'm okay with dragging the coattails here.
Mike, you
I'll
got it.
say I won't be long. I'll be short, but I'll say, man, if you want to talk about excitement and you glued to your couch when he's up to bat, that is me. And he showed a lot of patience. He's already walking. Like, I think he already has at least like 3 or 4 walks already in these few amount of games he's played.
it's 3-3, Mike.
Well, what is it?
3-3.
All
He's
right.
3-3.
So he's doing a lot of good things. Just got his first career home run in the outfield. He's looking solid out there too. This is the energy that we needed. We need players to inject energy into the ballpark, into these stadiums, and he is doing it, man. I'm excited to see him for the rest of the season. They called him up a little earlier than I would have guessed, but he deserves it, man. He was killing it in AAA. So I'm not mad at it. I know every time I get a chance to watch the Tigers on TV, when he's up to bat, I'm not stepping up in the way. Now, when Torkelson up to bat, I might have to get up. I might have to get up.
That's fair.
But when Max Clark at home plate, I'm glued to my TV, man. I'm glued to my couch.
Rich, your thoughts?
I mean, he is like he's everything we don't have currently. Speed. We do not have speed like he has. So he brings that. I mean, also him and McGonigal, man, they've grown up together in the system. So I mean, it's just like Torque and Green. So I'm interested once to see his speed. We really haven't seen his speed yet. But I mean, the Tigers have showed you. I mean, they tried it with Parker. That failed. And then Outman, he did all right. But I mean, offensively, he's either speed or home run. That's it. He played solid defense for you, but again, Tigers had to do a bunch of Band-Aids this year because of so many injuries. It reminded me of the Lions a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So there's only so many Band-Aids you can put on. But yeah, I like what I've seen so far.
Chris.
Hey, so I like it, and it's funny because his 2 plate appearances, like he literally got on base and did not even take a swing for like the first 8 or 9 pitches. Like he did not take a single swing. It was kind of hilarious. But the plate discipline of him was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I like the swagger he carries. I know a lot of people don't like the gold chains, and a lot of people don't like all the stuff that comes with him. But we need as much swagger as we can get. We are kind of swaggerless when it comes to Detroit baseball. But I like his discipline. I like his excitement and his energy. It's like I have to agree with Mike. Like this is one of the first times like I actually want to watch a plate appearance, like to see what's going to happen. So I'll make it short and sweet. I mean, I like him. I can't wait to see what happens.
The computer miss you, Rich. Every time I put Chris on the screen, it puts you right back up there. See, it did it again. Steven, your thoughts, man?
All right. So I love what you guys are saying. Obviously, I'm super excited about Max myself. But the point I want to make, and I'll let you guys even chime in before I continue. Why is this surprising? Do you guys have anything to say about like why this is a surprise?
Okay. So are you talking about him coming up early?
No, like him doing well right out the gate. I mean, McGonigal did well right out the gate, right? Why is this a surprise? Like the media was like, "Oh my God, Max Clark!"
Maybe because we're not used to having this much success so early. Because past Tiger teams have brought up their prospects too early, and outside of a few, we've had a lot that have missed. They just they didn't pan out. So to get 2 guys in the same year to play really well and they came up, you're like, oh my God, is this really happening? And I think that's the big deal with the media.
That is true.
It's more than that though, because you've had Hao-Yu Lee as well. You've had several Valencia. I mean, you got 4 rookies.
That's recently, though. That's recently, Rich. Like in the past, like us watching the Tigers, they don't really perform like that when they get to the major league. Some of them don't even get to the major leagues. Like we made trades, and when we've got prospects, and we're thinking there's something, and they don't pan out either. So it's a breath of fresh air to see multiple young players coming up and handling their business.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys saying that. I'll continue now. But the reason why I asked that is because I kind of think, to some extent, Max Clark really got the short end of the stick a few times during his journey up here, and I want to make that clear. When we drafted him, the next guy that got drafted was Wyatt Langford. And those two have been inextricably linked ever since, because everybody says we should have taken Langford because he was ready for the majors the next year.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's validity to that. Wyatt Langford's a right-handed hitter, so it would look good on our team right now. It's very lefty-heavy. Like, sure, totally. However, I don't really think it was that hard to also predict that Max Clark would be a really good player. The next thing they did to Clark that I think was unfair is, who was his comp? Do you guys know who he was compared to after the draft? It was one guy, and it's a guy that is really never unfair to be compared to. No one should be compared to him.
I have no idea. You got me.
It was Bryce Harper.
Oh.
Is that a fair comparison for any kid? Unless
No.
they actually have the raw power right out of the gate.
Yeah. Nope.
But guess what Max Clark did in spite of that nonsense? He went down and he worked on himself. Even though he had this massive social media following, he had all this attention on him, some of it negative, right off the bat, because we were in a rebuild at that time, and we were in a deep rebuild. That rebuild was dark, and I don't miss it. But Max Clark has OPS'd right around 800 every year of his minor league career. And he has a career on-base percentage in the minors of 383. He slugged only 425, but again, he's 21. He was one of the youngest players at every single level he was at. And so the fact that he was getting on base at that clip, and he was a 272 career hitter in the minors as well, with his first stop actually being his worst. He only batted 224 at age 18 with a 760 OPS. I mean, I know that's nothing. He was 18. But the next year, he bats 279 with a 794 OPS, steals 29 bases, walks 61 times. 2025, he bats 272, 403 on base percentage at the two hardest levels in the minors, A+ and AA. 835 OPS, 19 stolen bases. This year, he gets thrown up to Toledo after just 43 games at Erie. And he batted, guess what, 276, OPS 800, stole 21 bags. He comes up to the major leagues, and that's who he is. The only thing is that he didn't have that punch to the face that a lot of prospects have when they first come up to the majors, like Colt Keith had, for example. I'm not trying to dig at Colt Keith. It's just he's a good comparison for some of these scenarios. Like, McGonigal came up and was ready. He had the mindset. It didn't matter how young he was built for the league. Max Clark, I feel those two came up together for a reason. It's like the Trammell Whitaker situation. When two people are built different and they're developed together, they are going to thrive together. I'm not surprised at all that Max Clark got off to a good start. I'm way more excited about Eduardo Valencia because I didn't know he was going to be a dog right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am thrilled that he executed exactly what he was supposed to do, but I knew he was this guy. And it was everybody else in the media. It was Dan Clark on Twitter, for example. It was all this bullshit that was being thrown on his name. It was undeserved. This is who Max Clark has always been. And I'm not surprised that he is that guy now that he's in the majors.
I do want to say Detroit sports in general, it's not just the baseball side of things, but we never get credit when it comes to the players that we do draft. Like, people always shit on our drafts. They give us horrible draft grades. I've seen some people give us horrible trade grades for these two trades that we made. Like, somebody gave us a D or a D+ for the Skubal trade. I'm like, damn.
I'm throwing shade to Jolly Olive.
It is what it is. But
Jolly Olive posted that we failed his deadline.
I mean,
it's crazy, man.
People give us grades based on, like, a lot of times it's based on our market, like just our market in general. They're just like, well, you're not a big market, so it's got to be a lower grade. No, that's not how it works.
That too, but also another thing is what I was trying to get at is they always give us a grade based on what the fuck they want to do. Like, this is the team wants. Like we just saw another player we got criticized for not drafting, just got traded today. Do y'all know who that player is?
Who's that?
2021 draft.
2021 draft.
He got drafted right after Joe.
Oh shoot, Marcelo Mayer.
Yep, he got traded to the
Yeah.
Giants today, but people were saying, "Oh, Detroit sucks," and blah blah blah. Y'all should have drafted Mayer, and it's like, dude, y'all don't know how these prospects gonna work, and y'all need to you need to look at what the team is looking at and what their goal is and what their goal with the player they drafted is for. You can't just knock the draft grade or knock the trade grade because it's not what you would have did. Like, I'm still excited to see Joe come back and see what he does and see where he ranks in the pitching rotation going forward for years. But it's like, dude, like give us some credit when we draft good players. Just because it's not the player you wanted us to draft, don't mean it's a bad player.
So I got a question for y'all. So do we got to give Scott Harris a lot more credit than we do?
I think it's
yeah.
still not yet.
That's a yes and no for me because I still need to see more from the pro side.
Yeah.
What was
Like-
Rich gonna say? I want to hear what Rich was gonna say real quick.
I'm
before I-
saying it's still incomplete because, like, you know, you really haven't, like Mike said, the pro side, you know, the free agency, like the young guys are still just, you know, starting. Like, I still think it's, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you say that. Mike, you got something?
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Like, I think we do have to give him credit where it comes to. I think he's getting slandered for some of these trades. Like, I'm not in that ballpark of him making horrible trades. Like, I don't know where that's coming from. Like, the players we've gotten. I mean,
Last year, the pitching that he brought in last year was horrible. I'm sorry.
I think
yeah, but I'm talking about trades. Like his trades, like people are talking about he's getting fleeced and he doesn't get nothing back in these trades. And we've had a slew of productive players from these trades. So that everybody's not going to be a all-star or a Hall of Famer, but as long as you're a productive player, like that's what we should be looking for. Like
I see his model starting to take shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see it now. Now that we've had this discussion today, I'm starting to see his model take shape. I see where it's at. He's trying to get rid of like the Avila's stuff and it become his team and his development, what it's supposed to be work. Now I've said this in a couple of recent posts on X and maybe in our chat rooms is like, but at the end of the day, it's like he's rounding his shit. He's getting his model together to work. Here's the up and downside to this. If it works, great, man, because you'll have a continuously good farm system, and you'll have a perennial constant playoff contender too. The downside is if it doesn't work, you really systematically destroy the team long term because at the end of the day, we extended or create a good contract for Kevin McGonigal. You're going to have to do that to Max Clark, and then maybe you're going to have to do that to Valencia. You're going to have to do that to Dylan Dingler. You're going to have to see where I'm going with this. You're going to have to do that with freaking Riley Green. Are you now going to pay money to keep all those players? Or are you going to get cheap and try to, we got somebody in the minor that's going to take over for Riley Green. Like, dude, okay, yeah, but you got to keep no. See, that's going to get you in a perpetual mediocrity your whole time. You're going to have to pay these players within the next 3 years or so.
I think they will pay the players, but my thing is, go, Rich.
Riley Green's another example of he's starting to show it. He is. He's a great first half player, and then after the All-Star, dude, he's trash. I just looked at his average today. It's down to 276. Here we fucking go again. This is the same shit last year. It was above 300.
Better than 220, though.
Mike comes in with that little quiet innuendo. It's like that's better than 220. Like he just throws it in there just a little bit.
Oh shoot!
But
All right.
I'm going to just say one more thing about this topic. I would give him a C right now. I'm not going to give him a failing grade. I'm not going to give him an A or a B. But my thing we're starting to see more of his model now, and this is what we were sold into. Him getting hired and everything. He was supposed to be this evaluator, young prospect guy, filling a team like that, and we're starting to see these prospects come up and all that stuff. But my thing is, it could be flawed because I'm looking at it from the pro level. If you're not bringing the right players in pro wise, because you still got to sprinkle in free agents, you still got to be aggressive and go out there and trade and get us bats when we're or even right now with the bullpen. Like this season is over anyways because the bullpen would have tanked whatever we would have did. If we would have kept Scooble Mines, we still wouldn't have went nowhere in the postseason. But
Yeah.
that's my thing. But that's my thing though. The professional level, like we get what you're doing with the draft level and the prospects, but can we not sign these old AARP like the Verlander thing? That was great. It's great for nostalgia. I'm not even gonna knock him for that. But last year when he signed Alex Cobb, and the man said he was retired on his couch, he wouldn't even think about playing no baseball, and he wound up not even pitching one time for us on the mound. Like you got to stop doing that. Like stop going after these guys that's like 35 plus. We need to be going with this team. Everybody, we should be going after prime players like 27 to 30, somewhere in that age range. Like he has to step it up at the pro level. I love what he's doing at the prospect level in the draft and all that and trading for prospects, but he has to do a better job in the pro level in my estimation.
So here,
Yeah.
Mike, you basically just took my last question and ran
I
with it.
actually have a question to ask everybody, but if you're going to continue with topics, you can go ahead with that.
No,
Yeah.
You want to get?
I hadn't chipped in yet either.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry
Go
about
on.
No, that's fine. Basically how I feel about Scott Harris, a collective of everything you guys have said so far, obviously. I think I just feel the need to give him a lot of credit for how he handled how awful the organization was when he arrived. Like there was talent, no doubt, but like I keep saying, that talent was flawed and it did not really synergize. And one of the things that I was really impressed about Scott Harris is how much he leaned into the people that were here and gave them opportunities. And the fact of the matter is he's actually had to make some really tough decisions. And at the end of the day, Detroit was not a desirable destination until last year. And we were 10 years of ineptitude. And within 2, we were in the playoffs after selling. And so I have to give him credit on that front. I do agree he's done a really good job filling up the minor leagues with talent. We literally used up all of Avila's pitching talent and had to completely refill the system with it. And he's only had 3 drafts to do it so far. Not now 4, but he's done that. The lower minors is full of a bunch of intriguing pitching talent. And the mid minors has some high level interesting talent like Andrew Sears, Jake Miller. Now you can throw in River Ryan, who's going to be a major leaguer before the end of this year. He's already been one. But the reason why I'm hesitant to give him a C and I'm more of like a B on him is because he has done such a good job of putting us in a position to create a better future. Even though he hasn't necessarily signed the better free agent, he's consistently kept our payroll in good shape to be able to do that when we actually have a need, such as if we become too left-handed and need to add another Gleyber Torres type of player. If that guy presents himself, we will have the capital to do so. We will have the space. If we extended Clark and Green this offseason, now that Skubal is going to be gone, now that Flaherty is going to be gone, now that Mize is going to be gone, all of that money we don't have to deal with, we could extend both of those guys and afford to get 3 mid-tier free agents with one of them being upper mid. And we don't really need a star. We have a lot of stars on this team. Troy Melton is clearly your ace. McGonigal, Clark, Green, and Dingler are your stars today. We need a lot more mid-tier talent, a lot of talent that provides in the middle and late innings. We need that bullpen help. We have the ability to go and get it, despite the fact that we spent this offseason. That's the first time in the last decade the Tigers can say that. And maybe that's just me having low standards because of what we went through. But other mid-market and low-market teams don't have that luxury. Cleveland is not signing those guys, is Framber Valdez, ever. Cleveland is never signing Framber Valdez. Tampa Bay is not signing Framber Valdez. He hasn't shaped up, but we had the capital to do it. And that's the thing that intrigues me. I have to give him an incomplete myself. I don't think his real actual grading starts until 2027 because that's what he built for. Everything to this point has been Avila and Harris. 2027 is just what Harris decided to do for himself. So the grading starts next year. Up to this point, I feel like he's been a B.
Chris, man, I miss talking to y'all about baseball. Chris, I'm gonna let you get the last topic, man. You got it.
What, ask it?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, so here's the thing, and probably Steven is probably gonna talk about this. So next year, lockout, possible lockout. This is where so they've already what's it called? The owners have already put on their first front running salary cap and floor. How do you think it's going to affect things? Now, if it's like football, where all of a sudden all the money that all these teams have invested in future, like, well, I'm going to just throw it down the road. That's great. But guess what? Next year, you got a $50 million freaking payroll that's going to increase because Shohei Ohtani is going to command that dollar because you kicked it down the road. And you can't just continue to kick it down the road because eventually it's going to build up if they do it in that modern way. It also goes with the floor. Cleveland Guardians they're going to have to sign Framber Valdez to get into the floor, above the floor. So now you've got the low end guys are going to get more money, but the high end guys aren't going to be as high. It depends on how they structure this the salary floor and cap. What are your ideas on this? Because this really will be this will be a shaping of future contracts and stuff like that. Because are they going to go with a percentage? Because like at this point, like if you're just like, well, we're going to hit you with the 17% or 30% luxury if you go over the cap. Okay, well, that's fine because the Dodgers can do that. Whoop-de-doo. If you sit there and you go, no, you have to be underneath the cap on this day every year, like football does, and then you can start adjusting things after that. They're going to have to drop $100 million or more in payroll every single year. They're going to have to get it underneath the cap, and you can't forward it because when the guy's retired and you're still carrying a 40, 50, $60 million cap hit on them, it's going to hinder you long term. What are your thoughts about that?
So I love that you brought that question up. I honestly think that Scott Harris would be one of the better president of baseball operations in the league at handling that kind of situation because of how he has run the system in the past already. I can't speak about who he was in San Francisco or Chicago, although those teams were consistently solid when he was in those organizations, even if some of them overperformed. But again, San Francisco never spends as much money as we did this year, and Chicago does, and that's why they stayed good. It all checks out. Every year under Scott Harris, we have dropped around $70 million of payroll each offseason. Mm-hmm. Some of that is because we just got rid of dead weight from Avila's era, but some of that is also just massive one-year deals that Scott Harris gives out to guys so that we don't get locked into long-term deals. And one thing that intrigues me is that I've heard speculation that one of the things that the league, not the players, obviously the players wouldn't want this, but the league is interested in not allowing deals to go past 5 years, for example. And I don't necessarily know if that's a thing in football. I'm almost confident. I'm almost positive it's not. I don't study it as closely, obviously. I am a football fan. I just don't study it as close. But
and to answer that, in football, we have seen recently, like these past 5 years or so, a lot of players aren't signing those 5-year deals anymore. A lot of players want to get paid more times, and they're wanting to have more opportunity to make more money, so they're signing like 3-year deals.
Yeah, they're trying to get short-term big deals multiple times. If I'm correct, that's what you're trying to say, Mike, right?
I assume he's in agreement with you.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Same thing David Byrne's trying to do.
What'd you say?
Same thing Jalen Durham trying to do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. I think the Tigers will be equipped for that because the reason we signed McGonigal long term, I think, is because those contracts are going to get grandfathered into whatever new system is in. And we just beat the system. We just stole a bunch of arbitration years of Kevin McGonigal from an outdated system that he would have probably benefited from
Yeah.
because he's one of the young guys. And what I feel is that we're waiting until the offseason to decide what to do about Clark and Green, those two guys specifically, because Dingler is already under team control through 2030. He's going to be 32 years old. He's a catcher. You have no idea what he's going to be then. I think it's okay to play the waiting game with him, although I love him. Max Clark, though, I don't think you want to be patient because he's already shown that he's a similar guy to McGonigal. Lock him down. He won't command as much money despite the fact that he was the better prospect.
And I think that's why they brought him up early is because they're betting on him because you brought, and that was why it was such a big deal when people were like, well, he kind of come up early. That means they're not going to have an additional year of team control. But at the end of the day, next year it could be a complete lockout. So you may lose it anyways. So you want to see what you got in him a little earlier, get him enough at bats where you can go, okay, let's sign him long term and we can start it next year or whatnot. The only thing I will say is anybody that you bring up right now, there's a very good chance that if they do a lockout, whoever's on your 40-man roster will be locked into the pros for next season. So if they have a lockout, you can't send them to the minors to help develop them. They're stuck. And that could be a problem. But I think we're fine with Max Clark. But if you bring anybody else up, that could pose a problem.
Yeah, just in general, I actually think I think the Tigers have positioned themselves well to manage a new system. And that actually is what encourages me about this trade deadline is that we just added a bunch of young talent and got rid of the guys that would have been a problem during that process.
Yeah.
Because even if School only signs a 4-year deal, that 4-year deal is going to be $250 million. Do we really want to do that for a guy that probably will have another Tommy John surgery?
No, you don't, obviously. Hey, Rich, I saw you up.
Yeah, I guess you said this before. I didn't understand it now, and I still don't. What do you mean locked in the majors on the 40-man roster?
Okay, so when you go into a lockout season, what ends up happening is you have a lot of times they'll go with whoever was on your 40-man roster at the end of the previous season. They're locked into the pros, which means that you're on a major league roster. So when the new season comes, you can't just send all the guys down to the minors so they can play, so they can continue to develop. They're stuck in the pros on a 40-man roster.
Yeah.
And they can't be sent back down. They just use that so people can't like stash people or help them develop. It keeps it kind of like an even playing field for your pro baseball team. So your contracts can't be like I can send them down and then therefore they won't make X number of dollars or whatever. It's because the minors are still going to play in a lockout, whereas the pros are not. And so that's why some people were saying, well, they may not bring up Max Clark because they want him to continue to develop. And if he's not on the 40-man roster, then he'll be able to play next year, even if we have a lockout, because the minors will still play. That's what they're talking about. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is a possibility that you have 40 guys and they cannot play in the minors because they were on the 40-man roster prior to coming up. Now, is there other guys that are in the minors right now that are on the 40-man roster? Possibly, but they won't be able to play in the minors next year. It's very possible that they're going to be on the 40-man roster. They won't be able to. I don't know how they're going to do that. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
All right, well, Chris, since you had the last question, I'm going to let you take us out.
All right. Well, like and subscribe to Detroit Fan Report. You can find me on X at Crazy Hockey Fan. And once again, let's go Tigers.
Yes, sir. Steven, let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find me at Rising Tigers on X right here, my little bar in the bottom left. It's been fun talking baseball with you guys today. I mean, it's been so long since we've done one of these, and the team has changed shape so much since then. I'm just glad to be back. Go Tigers. I still think we've got some fight in us, especially if we do the offensive-minded approach for the rest of the way and get, I personally think Malgeri could be the next Veerling. I think he's more athletic than he is. I'm intrigued by all of this.
I keep forgetting about him. Dang.
It's because he hasn't played. Yeah, I think he should. He's faster than Veerling. No joke.
That's my problem. We still got people like Veerling and the guy I said earlier. They still taking that.
Yeah.
Like that at some point this season they need to stop. Like they could be DFA for all I care. Like we got to move on, bro. They shouldn't be taking that bats from the younger players. I totally agree with you on that, Steven.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you do. But yeah, it just goes to show you how many things we could discuss about this Tigers team. Go Tigers. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Sure. Rich.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this rest of the year. I'm more or less looking forward to seeing the young guys play and to keep developing. It's exciting. It's been a long time since we had a funnel of players like we have currently in the system. But had a great show, y'all. Thank you. You can find me on X at Riggs928.
Sure. Mike, let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me at X at @1pride_JR. And I agree with y'all, man. I'm excited to see the second half of the season and see these young players up. Hopefully some of the younger players that's still on the roster or will get called up. We'll start to get that at bat. Some of these veterans are getting that don't need to be here any longer because we just need to see the young guys develop, man. And it's been a minute since we've had this much excitement for a young group of prospects, especially multiple. And then you got multiple, like we said, not only coming up but actually being productive. We haven't seen this in a while as far as being a Detroit fan.
And we haven't even touched on the pitching rotation, really.
Yeah, we'll have to do that next
I'm
time.
surprised we didn't have a pitching rotation combo on this one.
We'll have to do that next time.
We'll
For
be
sure.
here another hour.
Yeah, no, there's too much.
This did go longer than I thought it was gonna go. We had 2 hours now.
Yeah, that needs to be its own. That needs to be its own show. To be honest, I'll get into so many things.
Well, we're scheduled to be back on here this upcoming Saturday, so maybe we talk about it again. I appreciate everybody that came out and watched, man, for mid-season return, man. Thank y'all for the wait, we will be back. Do us a favor, man, hit that subscribe button, man, and follow everybody on the channel, man. Appreciate y'all coming to spend Monday night with us. Y'all have a great week. Go Tigers. We out.
Go Tigers.